Right now, there is a lot of outrage on the social media, and rightly so. One understands the anger, one understands the need to vent out right now, and one understands the absolutely emotionally devastated uh, mind space one is in. And one also understands the confusion, the anger, and then wanting to, hit back at the absolutely inhuman, barbaric monstrosity which got committed in Pahalgam. And it should be clear that it is called for what it is. It's a religious hate terror attack, where it is clear, where even Indian Muslim celebrities like Muhammad Siraj, a famous cricketer, has said that this has a very religious angle to it. So we even, Amna and I have discussed it, and so did we had other panelists like Tehmina Rizvi, Omar Ghazi, Raja Munib. That ultimately, yes, we understand that anger, and it is obviously getting very tough for Indians within, both on the left of the center and right of the center, to kind of, how do you channel your anger during such times, right? And there is no manual to it. But here is what my viewpoint is about, and how it can ensure that the fault lines don't further, stretch, and the enemy's nefarious designs of the end goal being between a Hindu-Muslim clash in India does not happen. Now, first of all, I appreciate that Mirwais Maulvi Farooqji and Mehbooba Muftiji called for a Kashmir Bandh immediately after the attack, and the city shut down. And whether that was the business association, whether all the top politicians were clear that they were against this, and this had brought shame to the valley, which prides itself in hospitality. And we also saw the Chief Minister, Mr. Umar Abdullaji, going to the home of the hero, Syed Hussain Shah, who tried to battle the terrorists and tried to take away their gun and fell to the bullets. And that's the real hero there. And there are numerous like that. You hear from the tourists there that how the Ghodawalas risked their lives, and there was also a heroic man named Sajjad Ahmed Butt who carried the tourists on his back and got them down. And there are many other ones whose names we don't know, but the tourists have spoken about how they got them down and risked their lives. And the whole city tried to ensure that tourists who were scared wanted to go back, and they helped them in whatever way. The taxi association said they won't take money. Kashmiris opened their homes, said they could stay with us, and so that side is there as well. So I saw rightly Syed Hussain Shah is being appropriated as a Kashmiri hero, and that is something the message is going out. And similarly, as we saw in unison, everybody saying that this is not bearable and we are ashamed. But I think where the right of the center rightly has a point is that while we take that one person and take him as a hero for the entire society, and rightly so, we need many more like him. But the two local terrorists who were involved in this, who helped the Pakistani terrorists, one cannot just dismiss it as something, okay. If we are appropriating one guy as a hero for the entire community, obviously it's wrong to appropriate these two guys as a villain for the entire community. But it does require soul searching, and we cannot just say platitudes of, oh, they're just like an aberration. And that is where that soul searching and a very, very critical, harsh personal assessment has to come in, that what were the factors that led them to have such a evil mindset and then perpetrate that and devastate 28 families for their lives, and the way they did it. So I think that is also important, because that's a sense of balance, because we don't want to get into the same thing that there are no villains in the society. There are no conditions, problematic conditions which create that. There is not a mindset which creates that, or an environment. But there are only heroes or victims. So it cannot just then go, oh, now that there are these fringe outfits in Dehradun and other few places who we are hearing of these incidents where they are bullying Kashmiri Muslim students and issuing all sorts of threats, and some have even been physically assaulted. And then we go back again to victim. No, again, they are not reflective of the 110 crore Hindus, right? So just that small number of a few 50, 100 lunatics going after them, we cannot again play just victim. Yes, we call it out. You have the chief minister looking at it, and we know that chief ministers of other states will listen, and those students will be protected, and it's shameful what's done. But at the same time, let's not draw an equivalence to the absolute mayhem of terror which took there and this incident. Let's not do that false equivalence, because that too is not intellectually being honest. Call it out, but don't try to then say, oh, now you see what's happening and all that. So I think this is the way outrage should happen, where you appropriate a Syed Hussain Shah, but you also see what were those two guys, because you don't want to appropriate them completely, but then you have to understand that as much there are victims within us heroes, there's a villain as well. And similarly, then we make that appeal that that fringe, which does not even represent the majority community, needs to be castigated, and they cannot do this to innocent students. Those students have nothing to do. They cannot be guilty just by association and by their identity, who they are. So I think this is how we need to do, so that we are brutally honest in saying, yes, there is some major problem here with the thinking, and we're going to tackle it, and it should never ever happen. But at the same time, you cannot start bullying innocent Kashmiri Muslim students who have just come to study in their own country in some other institutes. But not exaggerate that and then interpolate that with the country, because you would not like the interpolation of something much, much worse with the entire community, right? So the same rules apply. And I think I think it was important to say this. And so kudos to all those heroes who saved the lives. Lanat to those two locals. And absolutely condemnable behavior by those fringe outfits who are targeting innocent Kashmiri Muslim students. So, but please, let's not interpolate that with the entire community. Those are stray incidents, castigated, come down heavy, but please don't create a false moral equivalence of what's happened there. Thank you.